All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the playground. We're having an impromptu solo session tonight to make up for Monday night, where I was.
Duo session.
Well, duo session, solo duo. Yeah. We're a unit, man. We're working together.
Oh, okay. So we're married. So we're one entity. That's how it works now. Solo. Okay, I get it. We're cool.
I love you. But yeah, so Vic and Alice are off on an adventure of their own tonight. I greatly apologize for missing Monday. I was gravely ill and in no shape to
As was
be
I.
online. So, but I'm back. I'm getting almost to 100%, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. So I'll hand it over to Knox.
All right. Welcome to a special Friday edition of our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philly by Night. It is actually kind of a good thing that we had to split the group up a little bit, as it made a little bit more sense for what has happened. So I guess we should probably do a recap, since it's been 2 weeks, of the events of the last time. At the end of the last session, where the coterie was all together, that turned into a giant clusterfuck for y'all.
We all rolled horribly.
The coterie received a call from Lane that was highly suspicious and ended with the phone being taken away from her and a rather overt threat being made. As the coterie sped back to find New Rain unstaffed and basically being run by the patrons, Michael came face to face in the DJ booth with the man in the trench coat, who happened to have a gun to the head of a severely maimed Lane. After numerous attempts to defuse the situation, talk things out, initiate violence, and just straight up attempt to play some football and attempt to throw themselves through an opening that ended up with just kind of spearing the side of the DJ booth. The coterie, perhaps rather wisely, finally put their hands up and hoisted the white flag of surrender. The last thing they all saw were each other as black hoods came down over their heads. So that was what happened Monday before last. Now, the events of what happened Monday will be recapped and recited on this coming Monday, because the events of that night and the events of this night happen at the same time. So, before we start, all players have been awarded 4 XP for the ordeal, both the previous end of the last session, which was highly stressful, and also for the next sentence after everything is done here, which is probably going to evoke more trauma. So before we start, are there any skill, attribute, discipline purchases that anyone wants to make? Is there anything that needs to be done beforehand before we continue?
I don't think I have enough XP. Even
I
with
have
the
no
full
clue how much XP I even have.
Okay, at this point, Alice, you are rocking a solid 22 points of XP.
It's not bad.
I'd have to look at the skills list again.
Okay, give me a second. I'm about to pull that up. Okay, do you have the rule book?
I don't have the rulebook pulled up, but that's
No,
not...
I was at Pixie. Do you have the rule book on yours?
I think I have it, but to pull it up would mean minimizing
If
the
not,
window.
I
Okay,
can try and copy paste. Hold on.
here, trait to increase an attribute is the new level times 5. To increase a skill is new level times 3. For a new specialty in a skill, it's just a flat 3. For a new clan discipline, it's the new level times 5. For an external discipline, it's new level times 7, but you don't have the ability to do that right now. So that's really
Let me see.
what you've got.
I put it in the chat too, if it helps.
Okay, so I look under to see my stats. Let's see. Traits. Okay, there's traits.
And traits are going to be considered attributes. So increase attribute is a trait.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that would be new level times 5. And it's 5 per dot. So if you have 3 and you need the 4th, you need 20 points to get the 4th dot.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's stacking. So like for instance, if you wanted to go from 1 strength to 2 strength, that purchase is 10. And then if you wanted to go from 2 to 3, it's 15.
15.
Because you have to basically rebuy all of your dots. You currently have enough to increase any number of different skills.
Yeah,
You
I'm
also-
looking at like resolve. I'm wondering if I.
You also have enough to increase your disciplines.
That's true. That's under. Okay. Let's see. Where are my disciplines?
So you have currently, you have access to Auspex, Dominate, and Obfuscate.
Okay. Okay.
So, and
I was
you're
making sure I was
actually,
looking at the right thing.
I believe you're level 2 in everything. So
Yes.
just going down the list real quick for you, level 3 in Auspex
15.
gets you Scry the Soul. By focusing on a person, the vampire can perceive the state of that person's psyche as a shifting aura of colors. Reveal little precise information, but do provide clues regarding many subjects, including emotional state, resonance, and supernatural traits.
Fuck yeah.
If looking for a specific condition, the vampire can cursively scan the crowd to detect it. There's also share senses. By reaching out their mind, the vampire can tap into the senses of another mortal or vampire, seeing, hearing, and feeling what they do. The user still retains their own perception and is aware of their own surroundings, although the effect requires some getting used to. The user decides whether to tap into one, some, or all of the target senses. When used on a stranger, this power requires line of sight to initiate. However, it can be used over line of sight longer distances on someone who still has some of the user's blood in their body, which initially basically allows you to
Ooh.
see and hear things that you would way rather not be able to. So that's for Auspex. For what else do you
That goes like right up in your character, though. You start seeing
Exactly.
Level 3 in Dominate. The Forgetful Mind, the vampire can rewrite whole swaths of the victim's memories, and as long as they keep the victim's gaze in full, uninterrupted attention, the vampire verbally describes the victim's new memories, which the victim then accepts as their own. The power does not allow the user to investigate the victim's true memories. It more resembles blindly painting over the old canvas. So if you remember the scene where you had to go and kind of just erase trauma from Ruby, but the trauma was re-inflicted when she saw the source of the trauma. This is a little bit more of a hardcore, like this is literally being able to completely just erase that. This is like that. The secondary effect would not have been able to happen because she would not have remembered
that she
had been traumatized.
Oh, I like that.
There is also Submerge level 3, and that is Submerge Directive. When using Mesmerize, the vampire can now implant a post-hypnotic suggestion, allowing the command to remain dormant until a specific stimulus occurs. This trigger can be anything from a specific date to a person. Quote, when you meet Roland, tell him these words, to hearing a specific phrase. Submerge directive never expires. People can conceivably walk around with an order buried in their mind for years. You can do this only once per victim. So, not to put too much of a real specific thing, but the whole, did you ever see The Winter Soldier?
Mm-hmm.
The log where he had to read off the specific commands, and it basically
words, yeah.
That's a submerge directive.
Okay.
Or like Alice and Batman, or like not Alice, Kate, the new Kate in Batman. She's got that. She supposedly has the trigger word that you know. Yeah.
For obfuscate at level 3.
A necklace.
Ghost in the Machine. The user can now transmit the effects of obfuscate through electronic media, allowing the vampire to appear invisible or masked when viewed on a screen. And if the observer views the image later as a photograph or recording, the effect lessens. The image seems blurred, making identification difficult. In addition, automated surveillance has a tendency to glitch in the presence of a vampire, lessening the chance of their being caught by automated systems. The other thing, and this one's kind of broken, Mask of 1,000 Faces. Instead of disappearing, the vampire can use this power to make themselves appear as a nondescript stranger, someone expected to be present in the area. Unlike other obfuscate powers, this allows the user to interact and communicate with those they might run into. They arouse little suspicion as long as their presence is at all plausible, meaning it will not fool anyone who would not expect someone to be there or who would be hostile against anyone they didn't know. Power does not provide any personal identification or ways of misleading an identity check. So this is something that Nosferatu often use to hide the fact that they are horribly hideous. Instead, they basically use Mask of 1,000 Faces.
It's like a glamour.
It kind of, but it basically, you are so utterly forgetful that if someone came back and had to later be like, how would you describe them? It's
guy, white,
yeah,
110 to 250 pounds.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
5 foot to 7 foot, somewhere between there.
Okay, yeah, these are all actually really good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the 5th edition of Vampire, like the level 1 and level 2 skills, sometimes they're kind of iffy, and then you get into level 3, level 4, and level 5, and some of them just get stupidly overpowered. You don't have to make a choice. You don't have to do it right now. If you'd rather think on it, we can always come back to this at a later date.
I kind of like the last one, actually. I think that... I mean, well, shit. I mean, I like the senses, too. That one was...
The one for Auspex, that one has a surprising number of different ways that can be used, share the senses, because it literally means that if you... So let's say you are on one side of a room, and you see somebody having a conversation with somebody else. Because you've got line of sight with them, you can basically rouse your blood and then kind of go into their senses and hear everything that they are hearing.
And is it all senses at once in the same victim, or I have to choose the sense?
No, you can choose. So you can choose to have, if it's all of their senses, one of their senses, some mix thereof. Okay. So for instance, if somebody is in an extraordinary amount of pain, you probably wouldn't want to be sensing their pain receptors and their sense of touch, but you might still want to be able to see through their eyes to see what's going on. So
I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna go with?
Definitely. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I hate this chair.
So share the senses. I will add that to your.
So bad on my back. Okay. Cool beans.
It is a 250 core. What is it? It is your resolve and Auspex. Okay. So that is 15. So we will go take the down to 7.
By the way, Zach, Merc is in the chat.
Oh, cool.
Kinda. She listens to us on her drive home since we are on this time in the evening, so she may not be able to actually type, but you can say hi to her. Oh, there she goes. Hi, Zack.
Really quickly, just to follow up on share the senses. So the difficulty can go up depending on distraction, distance, and other factors, such as the amount of the user's blood that remains in the target. So, for instance, if you've recently fed on Lane, or because she's your ghoul, given her blood, it's theoretically possible for you to literally be across town and then literally basically check in and see through her eyes at what's going on at the bar.
Badass.
The target usually remains unaware of the intrusion, but since the unseen can allow the passenger to be noticed, which means you can be thrown out. But in the event that you did that, again, let's say with Lane, because you wanted her to know you were there and know you were checking in the event that there is, say, some sort of emergency or something going on, so that way she could very discreetly, like, say, write a note on her hand and then look at her hand and be able to communicate that with you. So there is a lot of very cool ways to.
Might have been helpful last session when the club got taken over.
That's why that was kind of the reason I led into this one. I was like, if I had this, I'm take
maybe
this.
Just a little bit, but you might find a use for it sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah, no, there'll still be uses for it in the future.
No, that's why when he was like, you don't have to pick anything now, I was like, no, I'm picking something now, because something now has to help whatever the hell we're walking into.
All right. So, any other purchases you want to make? I think you still have 7 XP and you still have 5, Vic.
No, I'm good.
Are you talking to me?
Yep.
Oh, I purchased last week. I'm good.
What did you? What did you?
I took my brawl to 4, from 3 to 4.
Awesome.
So that was a whole 20.
God damn. All right.
Oh no, it was 12 because it was only 3 per, so it was a 12.
I wish that one thing I wish about these character sheets is I wish that they would show you like how much, like there was like a tick off to show what you'd spent or how much you'd spent at a given time.
I've only spent twice. The first spend was taking my strength from 4 to 5, and that was the one that was 25. And this one was 12, so I've spent 37 total.
Yeah, that makes sense. 37 out of 42. So
yeah.
And then we wanted to bring up if you have time after session to kind of help us understand the new characters for the new game a little more.
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk about it after. We'll talk about it post game.
Good. I just didn't want to forget.
All right. So, are you ready to start?
Oh yeah.
All right.
As ready as we're gonna be.
Well then.
Excuse me.
This would be the appropriate time to basically, having put the black hoods on you, for the screen to ominously show up the following 3 words. 1 month later.
Oof.
So.
Goddamn.
You are starting both at 1 hunger.
Like 1 down or?
Nope, at 1 hunger.
At 1. Oh, we're okay. We're beasting. Okay, awesome.
So what is happening is that you have now been here long enough. Originally, like your first week, you were separated. You were on your own. After about a week, they put the 2 of you into a cell together. Your cell is approximately, we'll say, about 12 feet across by about 12 feet high by about, say, 12 feet deep. So it's roughly a cube. However, the walls are concrete. The floor is concrete with like a drain in the middle. But the front of the cell is not a cell in in the concept of like having bars. It is thick plexiglass. And when I say thick, I mean probably 18 inches thick plexiglass. It is huge sheets that are designed basically to keep you visible but inside. The back of the room, in the back corner, there is a space. It is a door. It's a little bit like what you would expect like on a submarine or on the space station. There's a locking door on the inside, and then there's a very short decompression hallway, and then there's a locking door on the outside. So even if you manage to got through one, which attempts have proven to be mostly fruitless there, you would still have to go through a second one, and there's no chance that you're doing that before people show up.
Yeah.
Hey, Tuxedo.
You have not seen Michael or Idaho since the night at the club. You have, however, seen the following people. You've seen Lane. She was completely healed, wearing the same prison-esque white jumpsuit. No one's in orange here. You've seen Clyde. You've seen Rhea. You've also seen Andrea, although Andrea was at that time period strapped to a gurney with like a Hannibal Lecter mask over her face and was absolutely losing her shit.
Yeah, she wouldn't go quietly.
Mm-mm.
You have not, as of yet, seen Moira or Romano. You have seen, in various states where you've been marched out to be subjected to tests or experiments or what have you, other kindred. You've seen Threnody, her head completely shaved. You've seen the kindred known as Shakespeare, who you would have identified from the pictures that Gigi had showed you. You've seen the Thin Blood Gloria, which you guys met way back when. You've also seen that rotund goth kid that you would have seen very recently, Vic. You've seen Sabine.
Huh.
And
We hadn't seen her since her club burned down, right?
Nope.
We hadn't seen or heard from her, so
haven't seen her since she got shot.
Experiments. Are these humans? We've been busted by humans?
The Second Inquisition is, yes, generally humans. Not all, but generally. And perhaps more importantly than all of them, you've seen Shaw.
Oh, crap.
Also in jumpsuit?
When you saw Shaw, not only was he in a jumpsuit, but he was in a container. They were literally had him on a cart or a forklift and were driving him around. And the container that he was in was basically, it looked almost, for lack of a better way to look like it, like a little go-go dancing platform, but light. So much light surrounding him that there was no chance even for a shadow from any direction. In fact, the only place that there was any shadow was basically in the space between his arms, underneath of his arms, and his neck and his chest. And you could see him trying. You could see what looked like soft tendrils that would attempt to flare out and die like curdled earthworms in the light on its chest. You know from having been marched around, the two of you individually, that the floor plan here is divided into the current floor and an upstairs area. Well, they haven't taken you upstairs. The current floor is divided into two sections. There is a section of containment units like what you're in, where it is these cells with the thick plexiglass and other kindred and perhaps other things that are in them. Some of them have multiple kindred. You've seen one or two that had more than 3. You've seen a couple. The most common number, if there's more, is 2. Some of them only had 1. In the other area on the floor that you're in, it looks a little bit like what you had seen in pictures from Border Patrol. Large room with rooms lining the side, smaller rooms, but the central area, basically a giant chain link fence, like kennels, full of ghouls, thin bloods, and humans. Across from you, in the containment unit on the other side of the hallway from you, are 2 other kindred. One looks almost perfectly androgynous, with long reddish gold hair, and you have watched and observed as they have occasionally used their own blood, either gashed from their wrist or taken from their rations, to draw on the walls. What they're drawing, you don't know, but the designs quickly absorb into the walls as if they were never there at all. The other kindred was a very diminutive and slight woman who is covered in tattoos. Her head shaved except for long, thick, colored bangs that hang in front of her forehead, in an obvious attempt to cover the long slit of a vertical third eye in the center of her forehead. You have not seen the outside since that night. You only know that time has passed because the guards come like clockwork. At the 12, 4 guards march across, usually 2 with assault rifles, 2 with shotguns. It's hard to tell through the glass, but it doesn't ever appear to be the same 4. At the 6, basically when you wake up and when you sleep, there are 2, both armed with shotguns. You also know from evidence that you have found waking in the evening that they're coming into your containment unit during the day and taking blood from you. So, with all of this information, you have just woken up. Across the hall, you see that the more androgynous kindred is still slumbering, and the one with the tattoos is already awake and huddled in a corner near the front of their containment unit, watching you. So, what do you want to do first?
I assumed during our time here, I've already tested the strength of the bars and stuff like that. Like,
there's no bars.
No, it's a wall of plexiglass.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it. Okay. I thought it was just plexiglass on one side, but it's plexiglass on all 4 sides. Okay.
No, it's plexiglass on the one side, and then on the other sides, it's just concrete. It's just
We're in a
thick.
cell, but instead instead of one wall that's open with bars, it's just plexiglass.
In your cell, I neglected to mention,
Okay.
are 2 plastic bags filled with blood. Your rations.
Okay. So do I have a means of communicating with the tattooed girl?
So, you could... You can use your newfound power of Share the Senses to basically get in her head and hear and see what she's seeing. You would need to roll for it to see if you could do it, and then you would need to basically make sure that you are letting yourself be known that you are there, and then you would need to hope that you don't just freak her out.
But the other guy isn't awake yet, so it's not like I'd be hearing any conversation or anything.
No.
She's just sitting there, so...
Now, she sees you, so theoretically, you could communicate to her that you are listening, as it were.
Yeah, if I've got her attention, I guess I'll try to signal in a way that, I'm gonna... Me, you.
Okay.
Does she respond to that at all?
So what exactly? So you basically are tapping your head and then pointing to her.
Yeah.
Okay. When you do that, she gives a kind of concerned look, but she stands up and looks at you. So, Share the Senses. 1, it's a rouse check.
Oh shit, we gotta do rouse.
Just you for this.
Oh, okay. So rouse
because you're
first.
attempting to use your power.
Some ability, when you use the powers, it's a rouse check to use them.
Yeah.
I always get it mixed up.
Some are free, some are not. Some have an upfront cost. Getting a little hungry. Although you do have that bag of blood, so it's not appetizing.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you do get hungrier for doing this. So it is your resolve plus your aspects. So 2 and 3, so 5. So it's gonna be 3 and 2.
Okay.
Difficulty is reduced here because you have let them know, and it does not appear that they are trying to fight you here.
3 and 2.
Perfect.
Good roll.
Good roll. So, before we start, which senses are you attempting to get into?
I guess sight and hearing.
Okay, so sight and hearing, not touch, taste, or smell.
I wouldn't think so at this point either, but yeah. That's up to her.
If I can roll all 5, I mean, because they don't seem to be in danger, nobody seems to be hurt, nobody's bleeding. If I tap into all 5 and try to get a picture, if that's available to me, I would do that.
You can indeed do all 5.
All right.
Okay. It is a little weird because you are suddenly able to see with your own eyes, but you're also seeing yourself through
her
her eyes. It's also somewhat disorienting because her perspective is not like yours. Because she literally has 3 eyes, it is a different perspective indeed. It's a little bit like looking through kind of a wide angle or maybe even a fish lens, fisheye lens. She is startled for a moment and then like taps near her ear. Like she's attempting to communicate something.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Being in her head, do I have a way to communicate that? I mean, I'm guessing with the third eye, she's at some level where she knows what the fuck's going on.
Well, so this is not telepathy. You're only able to see and hear her. You have the benefit of that she can see you.
Okay.
I
guess I'll attempt to see if she can read lips and point to myself and at least identify myself. Alice. Like, see if she can figure, that way I can see if she'll identify herself as well.
She looks at you and you hear her say, "A list? What list?"
And I'm tapping myself. Alice.
She goes, You're on a list?" She's like, "I don't."
Oh.
She's
my name Alice. Does that help at all?
She has this totally confused look. She says, "I think they're trying to identify themselves or say that they're on a list, but I don't understand. I don't know why we're even here. I've been here so long, and she looks over at the other figure, and you can feel the goosebumps as they rise up on her skin.
Like fear.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like being in there with him. Okay. This is so hard. If she can't read lips, I'm kind of fucked. Any ideas, Vic?
What? What are you doing?
Trying to communicate with her. I've got a lock, but she can't hear us. But I can hear her. I can see. But I'm trying to communicate just who I am, and she can't figure it out. So, I mean, any ideas?
I don't know. That's not really my field. I hate to say it.
She's watching you two communicate. She kind of puts her hands on her hips and kind of looks ceiling. She says, "It must be nice to have a friend."
And I say, yes. Like, I'm trying. Does she realize at all yet that I'm getting everything she's saying? Like, I'm answering as she's saying things?
She's not responding to the answers, but she's definitely paying very, very close attention to what you're doing now.
If I can't communicate who I am, Vishnu sign language. Yeah, I'm not sure in this moment what else I can try to communicate if she, because I am realizing I'm pretty bad about me trying to communicate. At least I can hear her, but what good does that do if I can't get her to understand anything I'm saying or doing? I mean, is there anything else I can garner from being in their head?
Well, I mean, so you've got access to all of their senses. So whatever sensory information that you could see, and keep in mind now that you have basically a second set of eyes, which means that this is also an external view of your own prison.
Okay, is there anything I can see from that point of view that would be interesting or helpful?
Maybe the mechanism that keeps our plexiglass door closed or whatever. If it's different, then.
So your room from the outside, as she kind of glances over at you, there are a few noticeable differences. The layout is slightly different. For you, the room, if the plexiglass is in front of you and the walls are behind you, your exit chamber is on the back left corner on the left wall. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
On her chamber, it's on the back right. So you know that there is a hallway, at least, that runs alongside that wall.
Yeah.
The other thing that you smell very strongly in the room is Vitae. In her room. The cell has a permeating smell. There's not a really good way to explain it, although I think you'll understand what I mean by this, is if the feeling of overwhelming humidity was a smell that just kind of stuck to you and got in everything, that would be what being in that cell would be like.
Ew.
It is a little maddening, as well as being kind of gross. There's kind of a dirty feeling to it. There's also, again, a feeling of fear. Anytime that she glances over at her cellmate, who is still not waking up, you can actually feel the nervous system kind of kick in, that fight or flight.
Adrenaline's pumping. That's all I can get out of her. I go ahead and tell Vic the details I've gotten, from outside our cell. See what he can do with that.
Until they come open the door or something. I don't know. I don't know if there's much I can do. Just concrete and 18 inches of plexiglass.
You see the pair of troops walk by. They are all black, head to toe. There's no real identifying features on any of them. Wielding shotguns. They look back and forth at both of you. One of them makes and points at the kindred who's lying in the other cell. When they do, you can feel the flutter of fear in the girl's chest. Worry that they're going to come in, worry that they're going to do something, maybe a little hopeful that they're going to do something. But again, these are not thoughts so much as the physical responses to
Right.
the guards keep walking on.
Maybe next time I need to get one of them guards.
And then you hear something. It is a tapping. It's dull, but it's a tapping sound. It's you hearing it. So Vic, you can also hear it.
Okay.
It is on the front of the plexiglass. But you can't see anything.
I'll go over to where the tapping is and I'll tap back.
When you tap back, there's a slight stop. When you finish tapping, it taps back harder and rapider. On the other side, you see the woman. She's looking at you. She's looking at you, Vic. Looking where you're looking. And then through her eyes, you see it. It is a black hoodie and long fingernails.
It's Gigi. Not Gigi, the other one, the girl.
Oh, Sunny?
Sunny. It's Sunny, isn't it?
Now, it's weird for you because you can see her through the other girl's perception.
Right, because her third eye special shit.
But you can't see her.
All right. But I tell Vic right away. I said it's Sunny. I think it's Sunny.
The tapping goes along the front of the glass.
I'll follow it. Just, slowly walk.
It goes all the way to the edge and then stops. You can see the other woman is now following and trying to look like she's trying to look around the corner.
Yeah.
When you can hear the door decompressing on the other side and opening. As it opens, both doors open and Sunny appears. She looks at the two of you, and there is a semi-noticeable look of disappointment. She says, "Where's Idaho?"
You haven't seen him.
Fuck if I'd know.
Fuck.
Let's go find him.
I was hoping he was going to owe me one.
I'm sure he still does. Let's go find him.
You get us out of here, we'll owe you one.
She goes, "Well, here's the issue. So, after you guys got taken, one of the people who was watching you and your club followed them as they took you here. And Gigi put out for all of us to try to figure out what's going on here. They're keeping tabs on you. They only check it at the beginning and end of the day, but they do keep tabs on you. So I can get you out, but if we get you out, then they're going to know that there's been an escape, which means they're likely to lock everything down. And if we don't know where the other two are, then I don't know how we would get them out.
How much of this place have you searched?
I haven't gone very far. I know that there's a set of rooms upstairs. I haven't gone through very much. But I've seen a lot of people down here that you might want to see.
Yeah, do you know anything about our neighbors over here? You ever seen them before?
Now, you're still keeping your perception in her perception as well. So this all looks very weird. There is definitely a feeling of hope. Like, you can feel her skin kind of burning, and she has her hands pressed against the plexiglass. She's almost frantic. Sunny looks over and says, points at the one on the ground and says, I don't know who that is. But then she points at the other girl, and the girl freezes, and you can feel it as she points. And she goes, but I know what that is.
I'm listening.
Sunny says, we'll come back to that.
All right.
Sunny pokes her head out the door and around the hall and says, I think I have a plan.
Okay.
But first, you guys should come with me.
All right. Anything's better than this place. I'll grab my bag of blood as I'm heading out.
Yeah, no shit.
Gotta grab the Capri Sun. As you exit the room with your Capri Suns, looking back and forth down the hallway, you notice that this place goes for a lot longer than you thought it did. And there are a lot more containment units and cells. Not all the kindred are up. Some of them are still asleep. The few that are up point at you. Some of them bang on the thing.
Yeah.
You can see some of them yelling. Can't hear any of them.
Yeah.
Sunny leads you back around, and then in front of your own cell. She stops in front of the girl with 3 eyes, and you can see Sunny studying. As you're standing in front of her, she can also see you, and you can hear her starting to yell. She's pounding on the glass at you. What do you do?
You said she's yelling. What is she saying?
Help, get me out, take me with you.
Sunny, how would you feel about jailbreaking that one right there?
Sunny looks at you and gives you kind of a skeptical face and says, well, we're not jailbreaking.
Well, you get what I mean. She seems like she's in some kind of duress.
I mean, everybody here is.
Yeah, but I get the feeling the guy in that cell is probably going to try to kill her.
I mean, maybe. How about this? When we do the big jailbreak and get everybody out, fingers crossed, hopefully. You'll owe me, and we'll get her out. Okay. How's that sound?
It just really feels like if I leave her in there, she's going to die.
She might, but if we don't get everybody out, they all might die.
Yeah.
So if this one's really that important to you, then we will do our best. But if we get her out, you owe me. Is that fair?
I think we're all going to owe you if we can pull this shit off.
Well, you'll owe me for this one specifically. You owe Sunny a boon. As Sunny takes you down the hallway, she takes you into a wall, or rather to a door that's got a keypad on it. Her long fingernails dance across the keypad, and as she hits enter and the door opens, she turns around and, with unusual flair, makes a big deal about making a bow, like a and through you go, as the door opens. In the next room, it is a huge room. The middle of the ground, or the middle of the room, is covered in chain link fences, and people are crowded in the chain link fences. It's like kennels.
Humans?
Some of them are definitely human. Some of them look like they might be ghouls. Some of them are a little too pale. You think they might be thin bloods.
So they just went in and rounded up everybody.
You don't recognize anyone from the club. Not initially, anyway.
So can I tell why these people would be out here and we are in cells?
Because they're not full vamps. Those are the thin bloods, the ghouls.
Nobody in the group was a vamp.
Right.
Okay,
Well, some of our ghouls. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. So all like the full vamps got like cell treatment, it looks like.
Okay.
And then the group was stuff for like the lessers, the thin bloods, the ghouls,
So it really seems like this is just the possible feeding pen? I don't know.
I think it's just more mass holding, it seems like.
Then where are they getting all the fucking blood?
Vic, you smell a couple things. One, you can smell in the crowd familiar scents. Maybe they're people you fed on, maybe they're ghouls, but you definitely smell something familiar in the crowd. You also smell a smell that you smelled at Threnodi's bar.
What did I smell at Threnodi's? I'm trying to remember.
Sunny looks around and leads you out into
Don't
the
get on
room.
my bed, Shadow.
She says, plenty of cameras, but they've only got one poor bastard running the security center.
Pix. Just mute yourself if you're yelling at the cats. Okay.
There's only one poor bastard manning security.
Okay, sorry about that.
We're probably pretty safe, and for the amount of people they have down here and the amount of kindred they have, they're running a surprisingly late crew here.
So what's different about? You said it's a late crew.
Light crew.
Light.
A light crew. Okay, okay, I misheard. Right, well, who do we know down here?
So, if you want to search to see if you can find anybody here, that's going to be a... Man, this is like the closest to a perception check we've had to do in this game. So it would be, we'll say, your wits and awareness, and Alice, are you going to help him?
Sure.
Okay.
She might actually want to take the lead. Her wits and awareness might be a little bit better than mine.
Actually, probably yes.
So, yeah, so she actually does. She's got 4 wits and 2 awareness.
Yeah, so I'll help her.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we are rolling. It's going to be 4 and 2 plus 1, so that's 7. So 5 and 2.
5 and 2.
You have 2 hunger unless you want to drink your Capri Sun.
5 and 2. Okay, good luck, everybody.
You notice a smallish figure. She's sitting by the edge of a kennel. Rhea looks thin, maybe a little malnourished, but alive and unharmed.
Wow.
She has not seen you, however.
What do you think we should do, Vic? Rhea's over there.
Do we have a way of getting her out and just her? Or do we think maybe letting everyone out is the chaos that might lead to us getting further in? I don't know. Is that the distraction we need?
What is Sunny said about all this at this point?
Sunny is like, we'll get to that, but that's... Some of these are just normal people. If we let them out, she points down, she goes, the only way out of here is a flight of stairs. She goes, it's one way in, one way out. If ever you release everybody out of here like that, it is going to be a fucking bloodbath. They're going to post 2 people at the top with shotguns and automatic weapons, and they're just going to mow them down.
Yeah. Not good.
Was there anyone else down here that we needed to see, or?
Yeah. Anything remarkable about this particular cell or holding pen?
The one thing that you notice is that all of the people are a little thin. Everybody seems to be a little malnourished. It's a little bit of a contrast, considering that, like clockwork, you've had blood available to you every day.
Mm-hmm.
While you can't say anything for the accommodations in terms of where you're sleeping and the boredom, they have definitely kept you fed, which doesn't necessarily seem to be quite so much the thing down here. Everybody here looks a little rangy. Vic, your nose is definitely picking up on that familiar smell.
Am I recognizing it yet, or?
It is the same familiar smell that you and Idaho found at Threnodi's bar. Are you going to follow your nose?
Might as well. I don't have any other leads down here, so let's see where this smell goes.
As you kind of wander off, Sunny is kind of like, "Hey, where are you going?"
I smell something.
And it leads you to a room on the side. The door is not locked. And as soon as you get that close, Alice, you smell a smell you have not smelled in months.
Ruby? Sorry.
Cat butt.
What are you doing? You said it's down a hallway?
Nope,
I'm
it's
sorry.
in a room that
In
you're
a
standing,
room.
that you're
We're
standing in
standing-
front
yeah,
of.
Oh, we're
outside.
still in the big room.
So
No.
the
I'm
big
sorry.
room basically has rooms lining the outside of it.
Okay.
And my nose led me to one of those rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have anything else to go on other than there's just a scent in the air, or can I track this to a specific room?
Well,
No, as we did.
he's already
I
tracked
smell-
it.
I
Oh,
tracked-
oh. Okay, I'm sorry. The architecture here is like boggling my mind. Okay. But nothing else to go on.
It's Ruby. Ruby's in the room.
No, I asked, like, is the scent Ruby, and you said yes. I didn't know we'd gotten to her. Okay. All right. Shit. So she sees me. What's her reaction?
Well, I said, did you guys go into the room?
Yeah, I will. I'll go in if nothing else.
When you step inside, the smell of Ruby permeates the air. There are two things that immediately jump out at you. One is that there is a figure that is lying in bed. It is covered basically from head to toe in a cast and in wraps. And is hooked up on life support. The other is a man. He is older, kind of got a paunch, a little bit balding, wearing priestly vestments.
Does he appear to be human?
He is definitely human. But he is sitting next to her and appears to be, if not praying the rosary, certainly holding one.
Yeah, I push past Vic and I immediately get in his face and ask him what the fuck is going on here. What happened to her?
So, as soon as you try to get in front of him, it is the perhaps most painful experience you've experienced since perhaps many years ago stepping accidentally out into the sun. It is painful in a way that is psychologically panicking, as well as a burn on your skin, getting that close to him.
Yeah, I immediately step back and tell Vic to stay the fuck away from this guy.
I say, Ruby, you can come with us or you can stay here.
She's in a cast.
The
other guy was. She wasn't.
She is.
Cast. Oh, she is?
Yes.
Oh,
the man shakes his head and says, unfortunately, she is not likely to be going anywhere, not for a while.
And how did she get like this?
Overzealousness. The other administrator of this facility thought that she was a ghoul. And in his zealousness to continue his search for knowledge, decided to subject her to a trial by fire, quite literally.
So you're telling me this other guy is too stupid to tell the difference between a human, a ghoul, and a vampire, and just throws her to the fire?
He thought that, like the others that we procured from some of these clubs and other places, that she was a ghoul. We'd seen her multiple times, but never been able to catch her. It was only due to her protectiveness of your friend, and he gestures to you, Vic, that she exposed herself.
Out of game, what would be the consequences for ghoul? Can we ghoul her now, or can Alice ghoul her now?
Oh, fuck that. I was gonna turn her.
Or vamp
She's so fucked up. She's so fucked up.
So here are your issues. One, you can't really ghoul her. The process of ghouling someone requires you to, well, it's time, but it's also you have to drink some of their blood and then they have to drink your blood. She's, as far as you can see, unconscious, maybe even in a coma. So that's going to be problematic.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, do we have a means to dispatch this motherfucker so that I can actually get to her?
As far as churning her, that would require one of the two of you to basically completely drain her and then feed your blood to her and put your blood in her. That's doable because when you drain her and then you put the basically slash your wrist or whatever and put it back in, the body will respond to that.
Yeah, she'll heal. Yeah.
But this will leave you with two other problems. One, she could heal that damage in her own time, but she will awaken as she is now. She will be awakened completely burned. The other issue you're going to have is that kindred who rise like that rise at full hunger. 5 hunger, she will be frenzying for food.
Gonna unleash her on this motherfucker.
Well, maybe, or maybe she rampages out into the group and starts murdering people indiscriminately, or maybe she wanders off.
So there's just no way about this that. Fuck.
Unfortunately, at this point, I don't know that we can do much right now. We may have to leave her here and come back.
I still think we should kill this guy.
Well, if we can get close to him.
Yeah, that was my question earlier. It's like, do we sense any kind of weakness or any way to attack this guy?
I mean, there is nothing that is outwardly preventing you from.
But he's not. He's also not. I don't know. To me, he doesn't seem like the threat. He's in a cell with her. Like.
Yes, but he knows we're out of our cells.
Yeah. But you can't hear anything outside the cells because we've been watching people scream and hearing nothing. So just close the door and leave them in there, and at least for now, I hate to say it,
right,
but she seems to be safe with him.
All right.
For now. I'm not saying we leave her here permanently, but she's in a full body cast. I don't know what else we're going to be able to do with her right now. We can't carry her around. Do you have any other ideas?
I gave you the one I came up with, and that was obviously not very good. So if we're gonna move on, we need to just fucking move on.
Sunny is standing behind you, and when she peeks kind of between the two of you and sees the priest, you hear her mutter an audible, "Oh shit!"
Sonny, what do you know?
She goes, "That's the dude. That's the padre. That's fuck.
That's the dude. What?"
She kind of is like backing out.
Yeah, she don't like this. Yeah, I just follow her out. No sense in staying in here.
She's like, "That dude, fucking." He's I don't know. I don't believe in it. I think it's bullshit. I don't think that there's a god or Cain or any of that bullshit, but that dude's the real deal. Like she keeps looking back behind you. She's like there's she goes, I don't know this to be true, but apparently the cam apparently they tried to put a hit out on him, and one of the big hitters apparently got super close to him and couldn't do it. Just burned too bad.
Sounds like what happened to you, Al.
What do you mean?
When you tried to step in the room.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you meant something previous to this account. No, but yeah, no, just now I totally felt that. I had to step off real quick.
Sonny is like, that's everybody's issue with him. Like he's I guess he's a true believer.
So he's a vampire. He's just
Nope, he's human.
No, he's human. Okay, he's just acquired some kind of magical bullshit.
He's like a priest, basically.
No, I think he's.
He had a rosary.
He literally, Sonny's like, it's bullshit, but yeah, he apparently believes so strongly that it hurts us. It's bullshit.
So they're just using this guy as a weapon at this point. Or do we think he's part of being in charge of all this?
Well, he's definitely one of the people who's running this, but
okay.
Worth mentioning, Vic, is that you've now, the last time that you saw this guy was actually with Ruby back at Threnodity's bar, and he was angry at the people for roughing up Ruby.
Ruby's with them. She's undercover, I think. I think she's been undercover with the priests for a while.
To what end?
Sunny kind of cocks an eyebrow and is like, I mean, if she's with them, then she's deep undercover because they set her on fire.
Yeah, that makes no goddamn sense. Now, were they using her and tracking her in order to get information on us? That I would believe, that kind of undercover. But it still doesn't explain the weird texts and the fucking songs. Like, where the fuck does any of that come into play? They were torturing her. How did she have a means to get in contact with me anyway? None of this makes sense.
Well, she's only been in there probably roughly as long as you guys have. Because Vic would have seen the point when they caught her.
That's when he saw her getting into the limo or something?
Nope, that was when he and Idaho were at Threnodity's, and she warned them. And the next time that he saw her she was on the ground, her face roughed up, and her hands in the same manacles that you guys were subjected to.
Because they thought she was one of us. Okay, well, if we can't do anything about this, what else is there to see, Sonny?
Sonny says, well, we can investigate upstairs a little if you want to see what's upstairs.
Are we sure we're not going to get shot?
She says, well, the flights of stairs are actually 2 stories. We're on the lowest level. If we go up to the next floor, there's just more of us, I think.
All right. I'm behind you.
And she creeps up.
Like that way there's a big guy in front, unless she feels like being in front, but if she feels like being protected at all, I'll take the lead and she can just kind of tell me where to go.
Okay.
As you are walking past the kennels, as it were, you hear a, hey guys, hey, what the fuck?
Turn and look.
Who it is?
Rhea is standing there with kind of like an incredulous look on her face. She's like, we getting the fuck out of here or what?
We're trying.
Well, right now we got to scope and figure out where the fuck out is without getting our heads blown off.
She's like, is there anything I can do to help you guys?
Do you know where anyone else is? Anyone else you know in here?
She goes, I know Clyde's in here somewhere. I've seen him. I think Lane is in one of those rooms on the side, but I haven't seen her in a day or two.
Okay.
She's like, we haven't seen Andrea in a while. She gave as good as she got.
We're gonna try and see what we see upstairs. Hopefully we can get everybody rounded up and get the hell out of here, but
yeah.
She's like, if I see the others, should I tell them that I've seen you, or what are we doing here? What?
Yes, definitely get yourselves together so that when we come back down here, we can get you all out in one, not having a look, search around. Get yourselves together, get ready.
She goes, all right, should we keep this on the down low, or are you guys...
Yeah, keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Yes, down low. Don't raise a panic.
Everything's copacetic till you hear from us again.
She goes, she makes the lock key thing over her mouth and nods.
It's good to see you again.
She nods at both of you, and she goes, good to see you too. Sunny kind of clears her throat and says, anybody else we want to see down here? We gotta start signing guest books?
Well,
I think we need to find Michael in Idaho. Go ahead. What are you saying, Alice?
Yeah, no, just agreeing. Like that's definitely the main objective is finding them.
And maybe Andrea, because Andrea and Romano can provide us some extra muscle. So if we can find them along the way, that might help out too.
As you head up the shaft, the next floor is almost identical to the part of the cells where you were. As you open the double doors and you go in, you're confronted with a choice. You can take an immediate left and head down the halls looking in those cells. Or you can keep going forward, and there are a couple cells, but there's a sign up ahead that says specimen unit with an arrow pointing.
Have you been up here, Sonny?
She goes, no, I went right past this, so it went down.
Well,
She goes, people like us, we're safer the further down we go, usually.
Do I smell anything?
Nothing but cleaner.
You sense anything?
I mean, I could try sense the unseen, but if people are just locked up around here, I mean, unless I'm detecting hidden guards, I mean, I can roll it if you think it'll help.
No, I just didn't know if you had anything that would, tell us which way to go, or kind of.
Well, just logic states that unless they're already chopped up and in jars, they're probably in cells. So I'm thinking cells are best to check out first.
All right,
So you
we can
guys,
go that way.
you take a left.
Yeah.
As you head down, some of them are empty. There's one particular one that actually has 6 or 7 thin blood in it, including that kind of rotund goth kid from Threnodies. They are standing in a circle. They have taken their bags of blood and torn one open and stuffed the other ones inside, and are using the bags of blood as like a ball and are throwing it back and forth. When you get to the junction at the end and you're about to turn, you can hear something slam into the glass behind you. As you turn around, you see Andrea. Her hair is unkempt. Her eyes are wild. And she's snapping at the glass. And in her mouth are a pair of long fangs.
Someone vamped my ghoul.
Yeah. At this point, I'm guessing she's just lost her fucking mind.
You both have seen other kindred like this. She is deep in frenzy.
Is there a way to open the door?
No.
No. So listen to me. I'm throwing in my blood bag and closing it. I've got my Capri Sun right here. I'm
You
gonna give her
think
my
that...
Capri Sun.
Okay, good luck. Do you think that's going to be enough?
It may not be enough. It might be enough to bring her down a little bit, but
the only way in, so her room, the actual hatch into it is actually above. It's not unlike the other rooms which entered from the compression. Her room actually has a hatch on the top.
So we got to go up to the next floor.
So it is not entirely clear how to get into that particular cell.
So at least we found one person.
we know where she is at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sunny kind of looks at the both of you and goes, "We're not just going to let that out, are we?"
Not at the fucking moment.
Not in her current state.
We just need to know where she is for future reference.
She goes, "Well, all right. Well, I guess head to the specimen unit."
This is all the cells that we can see?
At this point, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess we head down there.
All right. So, as you are walking back towards the specimen unit, now would be an excellent time to take a bio break. Come back in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
We will see what horrors await.
All right, everybody. We've hit the 7 o'clock-ish moment, and we're going to go ahead and have our bio break. It's a chance for you guys to hit the bathroom, grab a snack, get a smoke, what the fuck ever. And we'll be back in about 10 or so. All right? Be right back. In the stream. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We're back. Refreshed and ready to go. So we're about to head down to the specimen room.
Side of the area.
As you head down the way you came, and then head to the doors have big, thick block letters on the front, all caps, that say specimen unit. There is not a keypad here. Instead, it is a biometric sensor. Sunny reaches into her backpack and pulls out a plastic bag. And out of the plastic bag, she pulls out a human hand.
Good girl.
She goes, "This is beyond gross." She goes, "I didn't do this." She goes, "I got this from somebody else."
Still well prepared. I'm proud of you.
She sets the hand on the sensor, and the doors slide open. On your left, it looks like your cell, but there is a much smaller cell inside of it. The cell inside of it is plexiglass on all sides, and the outside of it, on all sides save the front-facing side, is surrounded in light. And sitting in the middle of all of that, in a room that is probably square, maybe 6 by 6, is Shaw. He sees you, but he makes no move to get up, to point at you, to... It's just those cold, dead eyes watching you.
Is this the only cage in the specimen area?
Funny enough, directly opposite him is an exactly the same cage that is set up identically. Sitting in that cage is a woman. Her hair is black and shaggy. Looks a little bit like maybe Joan Jett. But it is the exact same setup.
Is it the Joan Jett that Idaho was going after, or different?
Maybe you'll find out.
Wouldn't we recognize?
That's what I was saying. I thought I saw her, so I thought I would have recognized her.
Well, you only saw her basically as she was walking away from you, so...
Okay.
As you move down, there is a much larger containment unit. The walls are concrete, the front is still.
Oh boy. Looks like Roll20 crashed. Technical difficulties. Should fix themselves in a second. Let's see if we can reconnect.
Do we all lose audio there?
Yeah, it dropped everybody.
you back?
Everyone got
Yeah, I think it was just roll 20 having a hiccup.
Weird. Like you guys just literally, like, your pictures just disappeared.
Same here.
Yeah, the same thing. Audio just dropped.
So, where was I? Oh, yes. It's a much larger containment unit. Same plexiglass front, same concrete walls and ceiling, but the floor is covered in dirt. There is dirt and rocks and what look like logs or parts of logs. And inside of that, there is a man. He is heavily muscled. He is wearing the same pants that you both are, but no shirt. And the legs on his pants have been torn off basically right at the knee. And he is wearing a thick collar that has some sort of chemicals in containers on the back.
And we don't recognize this guy at all?
No.
I've never seen him. Okay.
He is stalking back. And when he sees you, he stops and he starts to walk alongside, keeping his eyes laser focused on you.
Oh.
And nowhere in here are any of these specimens labeled in any way?
No.
Okay.
There's one that you pass by. It's a simple looking man. He's sitting cross-legged in the middle of his cell, but even looking at him gives you a headache. The voices in your head sound distorted and garbled as you look at him. When you look away, they fade. But it's like there's a filter.
Okay.
There are other oddities there. But in the very back corner of the specimen unit, there is what could be very charitably called a man. He's well over 9 feet tall. His skin is alabaster white. His legs have an additional joint beneath the knees. So it looks like human legs, thigh, knee, but then it's like a dog leg beneath of that. The same goes for his arms. It's a shoulder, and then an elbow, and then a length that looks like where a forearm would be that goes to a wrist, then another length of forearm that goes to a wrist and a hand. He has no hair anywhere on his body and is completely naked. He doesn't have lips on his face per se. It's more just like a gash cut. He watches you standing there. And it looks like he doesn't blink, but you realize that's because he actually has 2 eyelids. The inner eyelid closes vertically and rapidly, and so does the top one closes down, but they're almost translucent. It gives the impression of his eyes never closing. He stares at you, and the faintest hint of a grin crosses his face, and in an extremely exaggerated fashion, he brings up one of his arms and taps his wrist.
Almost saying, like, what's the time?
It's time. Or it's time. Like he's pointing to a watch, right? Like, yeah. Something with time.
Sonny looks at this gesture and then goes, "Shit."
What's up?
She says, we might want to think about getting you back to your cells.
Fuck. Guard change.
Okay. Let's go.
As you hustle away, you can see all of them watch you as you're heading back. You see the man with the collar follow you back down the hallway, walking by the plexiglass. You see Shaw's eyes follow you. Nothing else. But his eyes follow you as you head out of the specimen unit. As you head down the hallway, you see that some vampires have already turned in and are laying down. Some see you and are watching you, but that vigor is gone, and you know that they will be asleep soon. Sonny says, I have one more thing that I need to show you before we get out of here, or before I get you back to your room.
Let's make it quick.
Let's do it.
She takes you downstairs, and then as you turn out, take a right and go through a set of doors at the very side of the room. In here, there is the unmistakable whirring of a generators. They are massive, massive machines. Sunny turns to you, Vic, and she goes, I'm pretty sure this is how they're keeping their electrical bill off of the city power grid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we take this out,
Mm-hmm.
then this place goes dark.
All right. Well, we'll plan that for first thing tomorrow. After next shift. We got more time.
She says, I still haven't found Idaho or...
Probably up on that third floor.
It could also be in a different facility. We don't even know if this is the only one, honestly. I hate to say it, but...
She goes...
If we still have a third floor to check out.
She says, well... We've got still a couple minutes before. Is there anything else that you guys want to accomplish before I take you back to your room?
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Is there anything to check out in this generator room before we, so we can plan ahead? I mean, do we see any weak points? Anything that sticks out?
It is a pretty typical for like a power plant room. There is a set of computers that are there. There's some mechanical switches that are there to be thrown, but otherwise it is just three giant coils. They don't look particularly not armored or anything like that. So it's would not take an enterprising vampire of Vic stature to.
Okay. And I've got I think I have some points in tech, so if need be.
I have points in demolitions.
You and me together. We got this, man. We got this.
Blow this shit up.
So, as Sunny leads you away from the room, it's hard for the smell of Ruby to not catch you both.
We gotta find a way to kill that motherfucker.
Sunny stops and looks at you and goes, "We'll make sure."
Is he repellent to bullets? Because if you can shoot him from a distance, that might be We just need a gun. Next step.
Yeah, they took mine.
Well, they took all of mine too. Stubby's gone. Bye-bye, Stubby.
As she leads you back down the hallway towards your room, the girl with the third eye sees you and excitedly taps on the glass. She makes the gesture and goes,
At this point, I should be able to hear
well,
because I have line of sight.
At this point, you've broken. Well, because you've gone so far away, you've broken the bond.
Oh, okay. I thought it would continue once we were in range. Okay.
You probably have to reinitiate it, but she's probably a willing participant at this point.
Do we have time to open their door just to talk to her?
Well, the other person is now awake and is standing there watching you with arms crossed.
Well, now might be a good time to do it so you can figure out more about him. That's the only way we're going to be able to hear what he's saying. Or you're going to be able to figure out anything about him. If that makes sense.
That's why I'm wondering if we should just open the door and
You know, we're already in our own cell. Like, the Sunny brought us back to our cell.
You're right in front of your cell.
Oh, right in front of our... Okay.
That's what I'm saying, if we had time to actually open the door and communicate.
But if she was scared of that other guy, if we opened the door, you know, like,
You're not big enough to...
I'm big, and no, that's not the problem. The problem is I'm not trying to start anything now.
I'm joking.
I'm not trying to start. I'm trying to make it look like we didn't get out of the cell at all.
I mean, I guess I can try rolling again. I mean, can what's Sunny's reaction to all this? No sound.
Knox. Your sound just went out or something.
No sound. Yeah. Reset. It happens.
Roll20's being an asshole tonight.
No sound. Oh boy. I hope his headset didn't go out. That would suck.
I see your lips moving. I don't hear anything though.
Seriously, I've been having issues all day. Like, half the games I tried to play today didn't want to work. There we go.
Hey, I hear you. There you go. We're good.
Sunny looks at the two of you and says, maybe back in the cell would be the best place to continue these kind of conversations.
Yes.
All right.
Let's get Let's get in.
Sunny opens the door for the pair of you. And as you get in, she looks at you, Alice. And she says, "We'll see you shortly."
Nope. Phone.
The door closes with a bit of finality. And you can hear the second door also close. There's part of you that thinks that maybe you'll see her as she goes back in front of you, but you never see her. What you do see on the other side is the girl with 3 eyes, with a confused, almost sad look on her face. She looks at you. As the pull towards sleep starts to creep up on you, you have a moment to gather your thoughts. Victor, what are your thoughts before you fall asleep?
Me or Alice?
Vic.
Oh, me. Okay. I'm just kind of thinking about, what we can do to get. I'm trying to figure out the best plan to try and get as many of good people out as we can as on our way out. And fuck everyone else, like Shaw. Fucking. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I think my first step's probably going to be, once we get situated, to figure out how to destroy the power supply so we can get this place in the dark. But I think another priority is also going to be trying to figure out how to get access to Andrea's cage. That way we can maybe try and get her, because she would be a huge asset in all of this too. If we can get her back, back to normal hunger. She's right now beasting out. I've got 1 blood bag. If they give me another one overnight and I don't need it, I'll save it up. I've got 2 blood bags to throw in. So we'll see what happens.
Alice, final thoughts.
Still processing seeing Ruby, especially like in that condition. I'm intrigued by the 3-eyed girl across the way. Hoping to be able to better communicate with her tomorrow, in the hopes that we can possibly use them to help in orchestrating taking this place down. Even if that guy is scary and pissed off, if he can understand it's a team-up operation to get us all the fuck out, maybe he will calm his tits. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
These final thoughts. You see soldiers passing by the front of your cage. Your eyes close and sleep. The kind of sleep that kindred can only find overtakes you. That is the end of this session, though certainly not the end.
No. I'm like, it's still early. It's still early. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, but we probably caught up to where the timeline that Michael.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I was kind of lost there at a few moments and trying to gather my thoughts, and I'm like, I'm just slowing down the game.
I think tomorrow was more about information gathering and just trying to figure out where we were, what kind of position we were in, who else was here.
Yeah.
I think it seems like it's leading up the next session being like, what are we going to do to get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, hopefully, on the next session, it will be all 4 of you.
Yes.
And we will.
And for lurkers, everybody watching and listening, that actually is on Monday, so we don't have very long to wait.
That is true.
Mondays are our normal sessions.
Yes,
so
we were.
3 days.
I
3
was-
days.
I was very, very upset to, have to miss Monday, and but yes, we're gonna get back on normal schedule. So Monday, 5:30 Central Standard Time.
And Idaho and Michael should join us.
And yes, and we will all 4 hopefully find each other and get together and take this facility down, whatever the fuck it is. So thank you to Knox, our storyteller, as always. And Zack is playing Victor. And I'm Alice. And we thank you guys for being with us here tonight to make up this solo session, or duo session. So everybody...
No, we're married. It's a solo session. We're one. We're one.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will hopefully see you Monday. Bye.
See ya.